You can grab a pool day pass and head to Outrigger Laguna Phuket Beach Resort. Relax on comfortable lounge chairs poolside or enjoy the 55-metre water slide. Only 650 baht for adults and 350 baht for kids until the 31st of October. Free Wi-Fi available.
Welcome to Phuket News TV. So the push is on to establish better public transport in Phuket. Taxis with snazzy stripes picking up customers from anywhere around the island using a meter and charging a reasonable fee. Better buses ferrying Phuket's workers to and from the main hubs. Hovercraft, high-speed water transport, tunnels and rail links. Alastair Forbes has been a journalist living in Phuket for 15 years and he's seen and heard it all.
Well, I mean, for many, many years, of course, we've had basically the songtail, the little slow buses, which potter from place to place, and we've had the taxis. That's it for public transport. This place desperately needs some real transport. History has been against us up until now. Now we have a bit of a chance to turn the taxis at least into something useful. Possibly the tuk-tuks in Patong doing a circuit, hop on, hop off. On the infrastructure side, the tunnel under Patong Hill is still being discussed. We've no idea how long that's going to be and of course where the money is coming from. We are having underpasses built, but these are basically catch-up measures because the traffic has just grown enormously. They've been widening roads all over the place as well, again for the same reason. There is so little public transport here that everybody needs their own, which is ridiculous. The best solution so far that's been suggested, and it may go through, is the light rail, which would go, of course, from the airport down to Phuket town and then down to Chalong. It would not take in the west coast, which is where the people who most need transport are going to be, all the tourists. They don't have their own transport, so it's not by any means a full solution. We're also not connected with the mainland apart from by road, so there's no rail connection. Possibly that's going to come down from the main North-South Railway. We'll have to see, but it's a long time coming. It won't happen anytime soon.
Despite all the announcements, research studies, best wishes and intentions, Phuket's transport has been dominated by a series of local gangs, stamping out and aggressively protecting their transport territories. Tuk-tuks and taxis have been the source of many complaints by hapless tourists over the years, and the prices charged for even the shortest distances have been extortionate, roughly 3 or 4 times what you'd expect to pay in places like Bangkok and Singapore. Speaking of Bangkok and Singapore, let's look at how those two cities have coped with public transport. Both very different, with different histories about how governments have solved the traffic woes. And both are just an hour or so away from Phuket. Stephen Lane reports.
Singapore is almost exactly the same size as Phuket, an island at the end of the Malaysian peninsula, about an hour and a half away by plane. There are just over 5 million people living in Singapore. Its public transport system is legendary, well organized, efficient, reasonably priced, but certainly not cheap, and includes well-organized taxis, buses, and its famous super modern underground and rail network linking the entire island. You see very few motorbikes on the roads, and the taxes for buying and keeping a car are draconian, driving most citizens to use the public transport system most of the time. There are also tolls at all entry points charging cars for any journeys into the main city areas. Getting around the city by foot is just very easy, and an inexpensive taxi ride from the thousands of clean and readily available taxis gets you to anywhere the underground train system doesn't. To Bangkok, and it's a very different situation. For a start, there's officially 12 million people living there, probably a lot more. Bangkok used to be regularly listed as one of the worst cities in the world for traffic congestion. Successive governments have been hard at work over the past 15 years to fix up the mess, so that in 2014, Bangkok still with its crazy traffic, has one of the most diverse systems of public transport anywhere in the world. On any day to get around, you could use a long-tail boat, the underground railway, the over-the-traffic SkyTrain, the ubiquitous Bangkok tuk-tuk, regular metered taxis, and the very convenient motorcycle taxis, sorted into gangs and regions, and a cheap way to get through Bangkok's worst traffic logjams. You add this to the popularity of private cars and motorcycles, and you get a city with a rich and spicy list of options, public and private. All of this has been layered by successive governments and generations going back hundreds of years. It's a mess, but it works well. In 2014, it's fairly easy to get around modern Bangkok. Stephen Lane reporting.
Back to Phuket, and the situation is completely chaotic, unmanageable, and just getting worse every year. There are simply too many cars and motorbikes for the island's poor roadway network. Well, even the latest attempts to put 2 major underpasses are just a catch-up at best. Too little, too late, and really they'll just push the traffic woes and delays along to the next intersection either side of the new underpasses, which are still way off completion.
But there are people of vision who have a plan for transport and the passion to push it forward. Kun Paiboon Upata Singh is the president of the Phuket Au Bonjour and the island's highest-ranking elected official. We asked Kun Paiboon what he thought the most pressing priority was for public transport.
Subway.
A Singaporean type subway.
Subway. I don't think the normal railway will solve the problem because the land is too expensive.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it. Even the what kind of transportation cannot do it. But if the subway, you can easy to find the land. Easy
Build underground.
underground.
Yeah.
That's only my suggestion, that the central government should do it very soon.
Well, they say that the Central Festival intersection is going to be ready for this year's high season. I'll let you make up your mind whether you think that's actually going to happen. In the meantime, the NCPO are continuing to chip away at the island's existing public transport options, including the taxis and tuk-tuks. But for now, this is what we have to live with. Tim Newton reporting for Phuket News TV.
An international baccalaureate world school underpinned with a social, emotional, learning, and mindfulness approach. Help your child reach their full potential. Visit our website today.